Hi, this is Greg Everett from Sierra Dental Tool. In this video, we're going to go over some of the best practices when it comes to storing and handling your dental tools. The first thing that I want to get at is the importance of utilizing the original packaging that your tool comes in. When it comes in, it's always going to be in a nice plastic package like this, and this package is specifically designed to protect the tool from any sort of adverse damage. You might not think that it's easy to damage a tool, but because it's such a precision ground instrument, those edges are very, very sharp. They're kind of paper thin. And if they impact something of similar hardness, like, I don't know, maybe another tool rolling around in the bottom of a drawer somewhere in the lab, it can get damaged. And if there's any sort of defect in that cutting edge, it's going to allow wear to propagate from that defect. So it's important that if you're going to take a tool out of service, to put it back in its original packaging for storage. Secondly, sometimes we get asked, should you clean your tools? And some labs don't, some labs do, but the official word is that it is an important thing to do. What happens when a tool is in operation is some of the material inevitably is going to build up behind the cutting edge. And it's just a fact of milling, it happens. It's important to periodically get rid of that buildup if it starts to get to a level that's unacceptable. And the reason for this is the tool is, in order for it to operate at peak efficiency, there needs to be an area behind the cutting edge for the material to flow through. And as material builds up in that area, it hinders that and thereby hinders the evacuation of material and affects the wear and the life of the tool down the road. So if you run your tools dirty, they're going to last less amount of time than if you were to clean them. On zirconia, we recommend using a ballpark of 70-80 units in between cleanings, but there are all kinds of variables that affect how much material builds up on it, such as humidity and ambient temperature. It's something that you kind of have to get an eye for, whether it's zirconia, wax, or whatever you're milling. The idea is just to keep them clean. So a daily inspection, every other day inspection, take a look at them. If they've got a lot of buildup, go ahead and do a cleaning. And we've done another video post on cleaning, so if you check out the link here in the blog, you can take a look at our recommended procedure for doing that cleaning. The third thing I want to get into is just kind of a general top-down overview of how to handle tooling. You're not going to damage the tool with your fingers, because obviously the tool is going to be a lot harder than your fingers, hopefully. I mean, some of us have some pretty gnarly calluses, but that aside, generally when you're holding a tool, try to hold it by the shank. Sometimes you have to touch the fluting, but it's best to just be in the mindset of holding it by the shank. Also, don't drop it on the floor. Don't let it roll around on the desk like this, because everything that you do like that, oops, see, I almost dropped it. When you do stuff like that, what you're doing is you're just increasing the risk that you're going to damage the cutting edge of the tool. And the biggest theme in this post is just minimize that risk. The better condition you can keep the tool in, the better service life it's going to have, the better performance it's going to have. The last thing to touch on is the material that the tools are made out of. Most machine tools, even outside the industry, are made out of carbide. And the reason for that is that carbide is a really hard metal. It's very good for machining other metals and other materials that are softer. But the thing to know is that when you go up in hardness, you go down in the ability for the material to flex, generally. And what that means for our tools is it means that they're susceptible to breakage if they're misused. And what that basically for the lab, all that means is that if you have a tool that's like 1 millimeter or less and you drop it, or you just messing around with it in your hands, you can break it. It'll actually snap. In fact, just for fun, next time you got one that's ready to throw away, go ahead and just grab it, and again, maybe like a 0.6 or something like that. Grab it and snap it in your hands, and just feel how easy it is to break. And if you do that, you'll know and you'll respect the tool a little bit more when you're handling it. That's just been a quick little video on our recommendations for how to handle tooling in the lab. You might not really think it's that important, but it does have an effect. And if you implement those 3 things, keep the tool in their original packaging, be mindful when you're installing the tool, and then just be generally aware of how you could damage a tool. If you do that, you'll maybe get a few more units out of a tool, and you'll avoid that really bad mishap where you break a brand new tool out of the package. I've been there and it's not very fun. Anyways, hope this has been a help, and please be sure to check out our other blog posts and give us some feedback if you want through social media. We're on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. Check us out. This has been Greg Everett with Sierra Dental Tool. Until next time, have a good one.